What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Another video means another dopamine rush because I had to buy something to feel something, and today we are doing a Lego review, something we have not done in a while, and today we are taking a look at the Lego ATTE Walker. Now this set is a big deal for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. It could be because we haven't gotten a Lego ATTE in a while, it could be because of Phase 2 Cody, or just someone is happy to finally be able to army build their 212th Battalion. For me personally, it's the ATTE itself. It is my favorite walker throughout all of Star Wars, and I'm just happy to finally have one in my collection. I wasn't going to pay huge aftermarket prices for one of the older ones, and I think this is the best looking one we've gotten in a while, but just I'm finally happy to have it. And with all that said, let's jump into the review. So before you even start putting pieces together, this set does have 1,082 pieces. The build process is broken down into 6 parts, and there's about 8 to 9 bags included in this set. To give a overall summary of the build process, it should take anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. There are 290 steps in this set. This is a big set after all, but a lot of it is rinsing and repeating. There's a lot of things you're just doing over and over again, like with the legs, the side panels, the top panels. Those are all things you will be doing multiple times. So once you get it down the first time, the second, third, and fourth time you do it, it should be quicker because you already know what to do. There are actually less things you do once than things you do multiple times. So it's all, depends on how quick you are with memorizing steps. But overall, for a set of its size, it should be a fairly quick build because, like I said, it's a lot of rinsing and repeat. It did take me roughly around 3 hours to complete because I was recording the build process and doing things on the side. And I don't know if this is because I have a bias, because the ATTE is my favorite walker throughout all of Star Wars, but just seeing it come to life as you're building it, I think this is a feeling most Lego builders have with most of their sets. But just watching this set come to life and eventually stand up on its own was very cool and fun to see, and just overall had a good time putting this thing together. And when you are done building the set, make sure you do have space for it because it is a 1,082 piece set. I understand that those pieces go towards the minifigures and the spider droid as well, but this is an ATTE walker. It is a tank. It is a pretty big set. I don't know if it's bigger than the Inquisitor shuttle, but it's not as big as the Justifier, but this is a pretty big set. So make sure you do have space for it. Don't be like me and buy the set on impulse because you like ATTEs and now you have no space for it and it's sitting on your table until you can figure something out. So don't be a dumbass like me and just have this be your impulse purchase, even though you knew about it way before it came out. So yeah, make sure you have space, kids. So going in the minifigure, showing off the battle droids first. We've seen these guys 1,000 times through many Star Wars sets, and just, no reason to go in depth about them, but just know that you do get 3 in this set. And then up next we have the Clone Gunner. Now, Clone Gunners have a special place in my heart because I believe they're an underrated variant or class of clone in the Star Wars universe. They're always operating the vehicles we like to see in those big battles, but we never really get to see the clones themselves, and if we do, they usually die shortly after, so shout out to my underrated heroes. But actually talking about the minifigure itself, he looks good. He's got the armor on his helmet to indicate that he is a Clone Gunner, and he's got the chest piece on with the straps. I kind of wish that clone accessories were not just printed on, but you actually put them on. I feel like it would make the minifigures pop out a lot, but I'm not gonna complain because I'm happy that Lego does address those details nonetheless. But overall, a very good looking minifigure. And then up next are our 212th boys. Now we get 3 of them, which is really awesome to see, and I think that Lego did a good job at portraying them. I'm not expecting Lego to be super duper accurate, unlike the Black Series figures or Hot Toys or anything like that. This is Lego we're talking about, so I feel like they did a good job at portraying the 212 boys, and I feel like the print overall is fine. And finally, the minifigure that people are probably buying this set for, let alone the ATTE, and that is Phase 2 Commander Cody. And I have to say, he's looking good. He's got the padding on his helmet. He obviously has his visor, markings on his helmet. He's got everything that Commander Cody has, and I think that this is a very good portrayal of Commander Cody. He's got his jetpack on the back. The only thing that bums me out is I wish that backpack was more of an actual piece that you equipped to him rather than it being a print. And I can go on about that for other clones, like with their commas and their pauldrons and shoulder pieces, chest pieces. I just kind of wish the clone accessories were more just you actually have to attach them than being printed, and this jetpack is a very good case of that example. But overall, very happy with the execution of Commander Cody, and it's awesome to see that we finally have one. Now, one thing that I want to go over with this set, because this is apparently controversial, or there's just the LEGO community is kind of split down the middle about this, and that's the portholes on the side of the clone helmets. Because Cody is introduced in this set, he needs his visor, and in order to have his visor, you have to have the portholes on the side, and LEGO decided to give all the other clones the portholes on the side. So some people are all for this, and then there are some people who think they should only did this to Cody, and the rest of the clones should not have the portholes on the side. Now, me personally, I welcome this. I like having that extra layer of customization. Doesn't mean I'm going to customize every clone I have, but I just like how that option is there for me, and I will definitely give maybe 2 of these guys a visor or an antenna just to add some character to them. And it's not even like LEGO was like scavenge for yourself for these accessories. This set does include a handful of orange antennas and visors for your 212 boys, but I did scavenge a gray visor for the clone gunner, and honestly I vibe with his new look. But yeah, LEGO knew what they were doing. They knew when they added these portholes to throw in some accessories, so it wasn't like, oh fuck you, go scavenge for your own pieces. Here are some for you, so if you do want to customize your clones, you have that ability. And before we get into the main event, this set does include a Dwarf Spider Droid. Now, I know a handful of people are torn about this decision because the set itself is based off the Battle of Utapau, where there were crab droids, and the Battle of Kashyyyk is where the Dwarf Spider Droid was. So a lot of people are upset about this set not including a crab droid. Now, me personally, I'm indifferent about this decision. I can sleep at night just fine knowing that the set comes with a Dwarf Spider Droid. I think that it's a very good portrayal of the Dwarf Spider Droid. He's got his 4 legs, the round body, the red eyes, the nose gun, the antenna, and everything. So I'm happy with how he looks. I'm fine that he's in this set. Sure, it's a missed opportunity that we did not get a crab droid, maybe later down the road, or if you have enough spare pieces, you can probably make one yourself. But overall, I'm fine that he's in this set, and I like how they portrayed him. And then taking a look at the Dwarf Spider Droid's movement, you can rotate his antenna on top if you really wanted it to. You're not really supposed to, but that is there for you. You can bend his blaster nose up and down, and you can also bend his eyes up and down. Then his legs, you can bend them at the base where it meets the body. You can bend his knees as well. I don't know if that's really his knees, but that's what I'm going to call it. And then you can also bend his feet. You can do this on all 4 legs. There's no really rotating or articulating of the legs except for bending them up and down. Nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. But taking a look at the behemoth itself, with its first function, its carry handle that is built in, so it's not going anywhere. You can wibble wobble your ATTE however you want, and it's not gonna fall off. And of course, you can just pull it up and just carry it wherever you want. And then moving over to the big gun on top, you can rotate it 360 degrees, and you can bend the barrel up and down to make it look like he's arcing his shots. Then moving to the side of the cannon, you can see that there's 2 stud blasters, and of course you fire them by pulling back the hammer, and you would reload the stud shooter by loading it through the front just how it left the cannon, and you are ready to fire again. And then moving down to the legs, the smaller legs that are on the front and back can move back and forth just a little bit, not an insane amount, but can move nonetheless. And then the feet can about do a 180 rotation. They can just go up and down. And then the middle legs are actually purely decoration. They do not support the walker whatsoever. They're very loose, not in a bad way where it's gonna fall out, but they're very wibbly wobbly. And the feet, as you can see, have almost no restrictions in their movement. And just to show you that the ATTE does not even rely on these legs, I have already taken the other one off, so I'm going to take that one off and just show you that this thing is being held up by just the front and back legs. So the middle legs are just purely for decoration, and obviously you need them there because the ATTE is known for its 6 legs. So I thought it was kind of funny that this thing only needs 4 to operate despite it having 6. And if we take ourselves to the front of the ATTE, we can see the cockpit and the 4 big cannons. The 4 big cannons can rotate 360 degrees and have a wide range of motion, which is good to see for playability. And then, you know, looking at the cockpit itself, it's a simple slide in, slide out mechanism. So you just kind of pull it out. There's the seat with the switches. So if we just get one of our minifigures, pop him right in. Just, you know, make sure he's not really holding anything because it is a tight fit in there. You can just push him back in and you're all set, ready to go. I actually really like this way of working. It's very minimalistic and something I can appreciate. And just to show you how it works, there's these tiny little slits that go into like this hole, and that allows for the cockpit to stay in nice and securely. And if we take ourselves to the back of the ATTE, we do have the 2 rear cannons that can also rotate 360 degrees and have a wide range of motion. Just be careful to not be like me and have it pop out. And to get access into the back interior, you would open up these 2 side flaps and then disconnect this top and bottom piece. And once you have access to your interior, you can see that there is 5 seats for 5 minifigures and a couple, you know, decorations thrown around. So here is just, you know, the 5 minifigures inside. And I'm realizing that I placed the gunner wrong because he's supposed to be facing this control panel that is inside, and you can see that there's a sticker for it and everything. But yeah, no, he's supposed to be facing that way for the control panel. But here's just one final look of the back interior. You can see that there's a coffee mug on the side, something in the middle, kind of like a control switch, and then of course there's the 5 seats with a control panel. And if you look in the back corner, there is a weapon rack to have some blasters displayed there if you really wanted to, and there's kind of a frame in the back to kind of transition into the front. And to just close that all up, you just push the flaps back and reconnect the top and back piece, and voila, your ATTE rear is now closed. And moving on up to the front, to access the interior, you would flip open the top and flip open these 2 side pieces, and you will now have access to your front interior. So the first big thing about the front interior is these 2 seats that you can just pop out with a tool on it. So you would just put 2 minifigures on and then, you know, pop it back in so they can sit inside the front interior. And just here are the clone troopers chilling in the inside. Now I really like how, even though they didn't have much space, LEGO tried to take advantage as much as they could and, you know, utilize it properly, and I think they did a good job with that. And if we do take a closer look at the interior of the ATTE, we can see that there is a rack for some thermal detonators and a crate with some binoculars in there if you do want to use those, but I'm probably just going to keep them in there for the rest of this set's existence. And that's pretty much everything the ATTE has to offer when it comes to functions and playability, so let's move on to some size comparisons just to see how big this behemoth really is. So starting off with some opposition, here we have the LEGO AAT, then we have the Republic Fighter Tank, then we have the magnificent Razor Crest, and finally we have the Imperial Light Cruiser. And for any of those wondering, there are reviews for all 4 of those vehicles up on the channel, so if you want to check those out after this, you are more than welcome to. So I can't really say this is the turntable segment of the video because this set is too big for the turntable, but here we are at the showcase segment of the video where I go over what I like, dislike, stuff like that, and hopefully y'all can branch off of what I say and start a discussion down below. Tell me what you think, agree, disagree, stuff like that. So with all that saying, let's get into what I dislike first, just to get that sour stuff out of the way. So realistically, there's only one thing that really irks me about this set, and there's these little ball round things at the bottom of the legs, like right before the foot, and those pop out very easily. And sometimes it's a very big inconvenience when you're carrying it around and that pops off. Now you have to stop what you're doing, put the ATTE down, pick that shit up, put it back in. Just kind of wish they were a little more, you know, secured in. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of that I dislike about the set. So transitioning into what I do like about the set, kind of the 3 big things for me: the size, the look, and the functionality. Getting into looks first, I think that this thing looks clean, it looks sexy, it looks very accurate to its on-screen appearance. I don't really see any inaccuracies with it at all besides the stud shooters on the side, but that's something that we kind of have to expect. That's a staple with these Star Wars sets, unless it's UCS or something else that's 18 plus from LEGO, the Star Wars sets will always somehow fit in a stud shooter, so that's something I can't really dock points for. But after that, this is very accurate to its on-screen appearance, and it just looks so good. And then getting to the size of this, I don't know if it's in minifigure scale. It might be close, but I'm not 100% sure. But the size of this thing is very, very nice. It pretty much feels like what an ATTE would be the size of if you're putting it next to a minifigure, but I might be a little wrong about its minifig scale. But, you know, also don't be like me and buy it and then realize you don't have space for it, because this is a big set. It is a tank after all. So make sure you set some space aside before you build it, let alone buy it, and don't end up like me where now it's sitting on your table and you don't know what to do with it. And then getting to the functionality and playability, besides the stud shooters on the top of it, there's a lot you can do with this. There's the whole interior with all the little accessories inside. You can move all the turrets around. There's the cockpit, and of course the big gun on top that you can move the nose, rotate it, and then, like I said, the stud shooters. The legs even move. There's just so much to this like set that I can appreciate and think that's very cool, and just kind of caters to all age groups, because whether you're a kid or someone my age or even older, there's always something to admire and appreciate about this ATTE and what it offers. So yeah, overall, good looking, good feeling, and good size set. Do recommend it to anyone who's thinking about picking it up. And then here is our family portrait of the set with the ATTE, the 212 boys, Cody, the gunner in the cockpit, our 3 battle droids, and the Dwarf spider droid. Now, one thing I did forget to mention, another thing I do like about this set is the amount of minifigures we get. This is a set that you could, in theory, army build with, but I don't recommend it because of the price point of this set. But you do have the ability to army build a bunch of paddle droids and 212 boys with an ATTE, you know, available to you. So that would be something immaculate for anyone who has endless pockets. But, you know, for me, you know, one is enough. And with all that said, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, a like and a subscription would be awesome. Commenting is a lot of effort, so you don't got to if you don't want to. I get it, I'm a lazy bastard. But if you do want to voice your opinion down below, tell me, what did you like? What do you dislike? Do you agree or disagree with what I have to say? You know, just create a discussion down below. I'm probably going to respond because I like responding to you guys and creating discussion about this stuff. And don't worry about the bell. We both know that shit is broken. So with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. You like content like this, go check out the channel. I have some other Lego stuff. I do action figure reviews for NECA, Halo, Star Wars, obviously. And yeah, so hope you have a good day. Stay hydrated. If you don't, I'll fucking kill you.